You know that feeling when you walk into a room and you have absolutely no idea why you went in there? Or when someone tells you their name, you shake their hand, and by the time you let go, it's already gone. If you're over 60 and that's been happening more and more lately, I need you to stay with me for the next 10 minutes. Because what I'm going to share with you today is not something your doctor has probably ever mentioned. It's a food. Just a food. One that over 100 million Japanese people eat every single morning. And for a long time, nobody in the Western world paid attention to it. Until the science caught up. I'm the voice behind Stay Sharp After 60, a channel dedicated to one thing only, giving you the information you need to protect your mind and your body for the years ahead. Here's a fact that stopped me in my tracks the first time I read it. Japan has one of the lowest rates of dementia in the entire world. Not a little lower, significantly lower. Studies comparing Japanese adults over 65 to Americans of the same age show nearly 40% less cognitive decline. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That's genetics. They're just built differently. But here's the thing that blew that theory out of the water. Researchers actually tracked Japanese families who moved to the United States. Same bloodlines, same genes, different country. And within one generation, their dementia rates climbed to match American levels. Think about that for a second. One generation. That tells us it's not the genes doing the protecting. It's something they were doing. Something they were eating. Something that, when they stopped, the protection disappeared. So what is it? It's called natto. N-A-T-T-O. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. The first time most Americans encounter this stuff, they want nothing to do with it. It's fermented soybeans. It's sticky, stringy. It smells strong. Some people describe it as a mix between blue cheese and ammonia. Not exactly the kind of thing you put in your morning smoothie. But here's what's inside it. During the fermentation process, something remarkable happens. A bacteria called Bacillus subtilis activates an enzyme inside the soybeans. That enzyme is called nattokinase. And nattokinase, this thing hiding inside a sticky, smelly Japanese food, may be one of the most powerful natural compounds ever studied for protecting the aging brain. Now I know that sounds like a big claim, so let me show you exactly what the science says. Study number 1. Researchers at the National Taiwan University wanted to understand what happens to the brain in Alzheimer's disease. The main culprit? Something called amyloid plaques. These are toxic protein clumps that build up between your neurons, block signals, and slowly destroy brain cells. What they found is that nattokinase, the enzyme in natto, has the ability to actually break those plaques down. Not slow them, not block them, break them down. Their exact words were, amyloid degrading ability. Published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry. That was the first domino. Study number 2. In 2024, very recently, a clinical trial followed 120 real patients. People with reduced blood flow to the brain. Half got nattokinase, half got a placebo. After 6 months, the nattokinase group showed measurable improvements in cognitive function, memory, focus, processing speed. All of it improved, compared to the group that got nothing. That's not folklore. That's a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, the gold standard of medical research. And study number 3. And this one hit me the hardest. A large study followed over 1,600 Japanese adults for decades. It compared those who ate a traditional Japanese diet, natto, miso, fish, mushrooms, green tea, to those who didn't. The result? 44% lower risk of developing dementia. Not 4%. Not 14%. 44%. Nearly half the risk. from food, not drugs. Let that sit for a moment. Now let me make this as simple as I can. After 60, two things start happening inside your brain. Not if, when. First, circulation slows. Your brain is the most blood-hungry organ in your body. It uses about 20% of all the oxygen you breathe, even though it's only 2% of your body weight. When blood flow drops, everything suffers. You feel foggy in the morning, slow to find words, tired for no reason. That's not normal aging. That's your brain starving. Second, toxic proteins accumulate. Every day, your brain produces a small amount of beta amyloid, a byproduct of normal neural activity. When you're young, your brain clears it out efficiently. As you age, that clearance system slows down. The plaques build up. The damage begins. Now, here's where nattokinase comes in. It does two things that nothing else does simultaneously. 1. It acts like a natural blood thinner, improving circulation to the brain without the side effects of medication. 2. It directly targets the amyloid plaques. It's been called in the scientific literature a natural fibrinolytic enzyme, meaning it dissolves clots and proteins that shouldn't be there. You're not just eating breakfast, you're giving your brain what it needs to clean itself. Okay, practical question. How do you actually add this to your life? Option 1. Eat natto directly. I know, the smell. Stay with me. You can find natto at almost any Asian grocery store in the US. It usually comes frozen in small styrofoam packages, often 3 per box. It's very inexpensive. We're talking $1 or $2 per serving. The traditional way to eat it is simple. Over warm white rice. With a little soy sauce, stir it until the sticky strings form. They will, and it's a little messy, and just eat it. A lot of people add a raw egg yolk on top, which makes it richer and smooths out the flavor. Taste-wise, if you like sharp cheese or anything fermented, kimchi, sauerkraut, strong parmesan, you'll probably be okay with natto. If you can't stand any of those things, Option 2 might be better for you. Option 2. Nattokinase supplements. The research I mentioned used doses between 2000 and 8000 FU per day. FU stands for fibrinolytic units. That's how nattokinase is measured. Most supplements you'll find contain 2000 FU per capsule. One capsule in the morning is where most studies started. Look for a brand that lists the FU content on the label. If it just says nattokinase without listing the units, skip it. You want to know exactly what you're getting. One important note. If you're already taking blood thinners like warfarin or aspirin, talk to your doctor before adding nattokinase. It has similar effects on blood viscosity, and you don't want to combine them without supervision. That's it. That's the whole thing. No complicated protocol, no expensive program, just a food or a supplement that your brain has been waiting for. And while we're here are 4 other foods from the traditional Japanese diet that the same research linked to lower dementia risk. You don't need all of them, but even 1 or 2 makes a difference. Miso soup, fermented, full of beneficial bacteria that protect the gut-brain connection. Shiitake and maitake mushrooms, rich in beta-glucans, compounds that reduce brain inflammation. Fatty fish, sardines, mackerel, salmon, omega-3 DHA, the primary building block of your neuron membranes. Matcha green tea, catechins and EGCG, shown to reduce the same amyloid plaques as nattokinase. Any of those ring a bell? You don't need to overhaul your entire diet. Adding even one of them consistently starts to shift the equation. I want to talk to you honestly for a minute. A lot of people come to Stay Sharp after 60 not because they're curious about nutrition. They come because they're scared. Scared because they watched a parent disappear, still physically there, but gone in every way that mattered. And they lie awake at night wondering if that's what's coming for them. If that's you, I hear you. And I want to tell you something that the fear tends to drown out. Your brain is not a machine that's just winding down. It is a living, responsive organ that reacts to what you feed it, every single day. The Japanese didn't discover a cure for aging. They just made different choices, quietly, consistently, at the breakfast table for 1,000 years. And the science is finally telling us why those choices worked. You can make those same choices, starting tomorrow morning or even today. Let me bring it home. Japan has dramatically lower dementia rates than the US, and when Japanese families move here and change their diet, that protection disappears within one generation. The compound responsible, at least in large part, is nattokinase, an enzyme found only in natto. It breaks down the amyloid plaques linked to Alzheimer's. It improves blood flow to the brain. It reduces the inflammation that drives memory loss. You can get it through natto from your local Asian grocery store or through a nattokinase supplement at 2,000 FU per day. That's it. That's the whole thing. Now, one quick favor before you go. If this gave you something useful, a like goes a long way. And if you know someone over 60 who's been struggling with brain fog or memory, send this to them. Not because I need the views, because they might actually need this information. At Stay Sharp after 60, that's the whole point. Not clicks, not supplements to sell you. Just the things that actually work, backed by real science, explained in plain English. Subscribe if you haven't already. Next week, we're going to talk about the one sleeping position that Japanese researchers found cuts stroke risk overnight. And most Americans do the opposite without knowing it. Stay sharp.